The series opens with an unidentified man unlocking the door to his apartment when he suddenly receives a phone call from a woman informing him that Luke has died. The man asks her how Luke died, but she replies that he already knows, to which he calmly says that he knows what he is supposed to do now. He then enters his apartment, sits down on a chair, and takes out a strange golden key, which he inserts into his own body. Instantly, his skin begins to change color as glowing golden lines spread across it, suddenly erupting into massive flames that set the entire apartment on fire. 3 months later, Luke's family appears as they make their way to Luke's old house, the ancestral home where generations of his family once lived. The family consists of the mother, Nenah, and her 3 children, Kinsey, Bode, and Tyler. Nenah stops at an ice cream shop to buy treats for her children, but it becomes clear that the entire town knows what happened to Luke, to the point that the young man working at the shop refuses to take their money and gives them the ice cream on the house. Kinsey is taken aback and tells him that they do not need anyone's pity, but the young man explains that the town is simply trying to support them until they overcome their pain. He then compliments Kinsey on the bracelet she is wearing, and she thanks him before leaving with her family. Soon after, they arrive at an enormous house where they are welcomed by Uncle Duncan, their father's brother. Duncan gives them a tour of the house and tells them stories about their ancestors. A short while later, Bode wanders off to explore the area around the house and discovers a small garden containing a deep well sealed behind an iron gate. He squeezes between the bars, peers down into the well, and takes a photo with his camera, but the instant photo slips from his hand and falls, leaving him visibly upset. Just as he is about to leave, he is shocked to see the photo reappear. He starts calling out to see if anyone is inside the well when he suddenly hears the voice of a girl. Terrified, Bode asks who she is, and she replies that she is the echo of his voice. Panicking, Bode runs to inform Uncle Duncan. They return together to the well, but there is no one there, and everyone assumes the child is simply imagining things. The next day, Tyler and Kinsey go to school, where they notice their classmates staring at them with strange looks because of what happened to their family. The story then flashes back to the time when Luke was talking with his wife Nenah, revealing that they are both artists who help renovate and repaint houses together. Soon after, a man named Sam knocks on the door, wanting to speak with Luke. Luke tells him that their meeting is scheduled for Monday and asks him to leave, but Sam insists on talking immediately and pulls out a gun to threaten him. Luke tries to stop him, but Sam shoots Nenah in the leg. Luke tells Sam that the house does not contain what he thinks it does, then lunges at him to take the gun. Sam shoots Luke and kills him as Tyler witnesses his father's death while desperately trying to open the door, which is locked from the inside. The story returns to the present, where Tyler joins his school's hockey team. During a match, he is overwhelmed by memories of his father's death, since he had been returning from hockey practice at the time he witnessed it. Meanwhile, Kinsey is sitting alone when the same young man from the ice cream shop approaches her to introduce himself. His name is Scott, and he clearly shows interest in her, inviting her to a party at his house later that night with his friends. At the same time, Tyler also receives an invitation to a different party. At that time, Bode is home alone and decides to go back to the same well once again. There, he talks to the echo of his voice and asks her what she is doing down there. She tells him that she lives there because of magic, and that he too can do whatever he wants if he manages to find the magical keys hidden inside his house. She explains that one key can take him to any place he wishes, another can grant his desire, and a third can allow him to leave his body and become a ghost. Bode is amazed by what the keys can do and asks the echo where he can find them. She tells him that whenever he hears a whisper calling to him, he should know that the keys are calling his name because they only choose special people like him. Bode thanks her and rushes back home. In Kinsey's room, she goes into the bathroom, and Bode notices her bracelet, which had been a gift from their father. He looks closely at it and discovers that there is a key hidden inside. He takes it and uses it to open the vault door, wishing to be inside the ice cream shop. The moment he opens the door, he suddenly finds himself in the ice cream shop. Shocked by what is happening, Bode takes the last ice cream there to make sure he is not imagining things. He then returns to the room and tries to tell Kinsey what happened, but she does not believe him. She tests it herself by wishing to be at the Eiffel Tower, but nothing happens. Angered, Kinsey kicks Bode out of her room after he messes up her bracelet. Bode goes back to the echo in the well and asks why Kinsey could not go to the Eiffel Tower. The echo explains that a person must have been to a place before in order to return to it. Bode understands what she means and heads back home. There, Bode hears whispering sounds coming from the the bathtub. He puts his hand inside and suddenly finds another key. He uses it to open the door in front of him, but nothing happens at first. Then, a symbol appears, revealing that the key actually opens the mirror itself. Bode looks at his reflection, but it appears to be someone else, gesturing for him to come closer. When Bode touches the mirror, it dissolves like a portal to another place. Terrified, he calls for his mother, who also sees her reflection beckoning her forward. Confused, Nenah steps through and finds herself trapped in a space filled with mirrors, unable to escape. Bode breaks down and runs back to the well, asking the echo how he can save his mother. Suddenly, a beautiful girl appears before him, the same one who was in the well. She asks for the key that allows travel to any place in exchange for returning his mother. As soon as she takes the key, she leaves him behind. Devastated, Bode rushes back home and waits until his siblings arrive. Tyler also sees his own reflection in the mirror, gesturing to him, but Bode tells him to tie a rope around himself so he does not get lost like their mother. Tyler enters the mirror with the rope secured around his waist and keeps calling out for Nenah until he finally reaches her. Together, they manage to escape the mirror room. The three siblings stare at each other in shock, unable to believe what they have experienced. Nenah, however, behaves strangely, insisting that nothing happened before walking away, clearly having no memory of the ordeal. The three siblings exchange looks and decide that they must explore the house even further. Elsewhere, specifically inside the prison where Sam is being held, a guard informs him that he has a visitor. Sam goes out to meet her, and it is revealed that the visitor is the same girl who was in the well. As soon as she sees Sam, she tells him that she promised she would come to him no matter where he was. She then leaves the prison and uses the key to go anywhere she wants, exploiting its power to the fullest. She steals an extremely valuable necklace from a museum, eats at a restaurant without paying, and even kills a young man after entering into a relationship with him. At the same time, Bode decides to try to lure this girl using the key he has, hoping to force her to give him the key she possesses. He buys a bear trap, places it on his bed, and sets a fake key on top of it, similar to the one he owns. Meanwhile, Kinsey and Tyler are at school, where Tyler's feelings for a girl named Jackie become apparent. However, Jackie believes he has been in a relationship with her friend, so Tyler tries to explain that he never actually did, and that it was all just talk. Jackie gets angry and tells him that he has to choose whether he wants to be a decent man or a complete jerk. Suddenly, Tyler recalls a moment when he once argued with his father. Luke had asked him to try to get closer to Sam, who was a classmate of his, and to befriend him in order to help him through his struggles. Tyler had refused at the time, afraid his friends would mock him at school. Back in the present, Tyler walks away from Jackie, only to unexpectedly run into his mother while she is paying school fees. By coincidence, Nenah meets one of the teachers who had taught both Tyler and her husband. She asks him about Luke's friends and what he had been like at school. The teacher tells her that Luke once had several close friends, but after a tragedy that occurred, he became withdrawn and isolated. Nenah is shocked because her husband had always told her that he had no friends at all and had never mentioned any tragedy at school. Tyler then walks her to the car and suddenly notices one of his classmates vandalizing another student's car. Tyler is surprised, but pretends he saw nothing and heads back into the school. Meanwhile, Scott tries to get closer to Kinsey and invites her to take part in a photo shoot at his house, explaining that he is trying to produce his first film. Back at the house, the mysterious girl appears before Bode and asks him about the magical keys. When she notices the key he has placed over the bear trap, she moves toward it, but manages to escape the trap. She then approaches Bode and tries to choke him, threatening to kill him if he does not find the rest of the keys. Terrified, Bode decides he needs to look for new weapons to fight her. Suddenly, Bode hears strange whispering sounds and manages to locate the third key, which has a terrifying skull engraved on it. He keeps the key with him and goes out with his mother to buy something. As he approaches the shopkeeper while carrying the key, he is shocked to see a keyhole appear on the man's neck, as if it were made for the key. Bode realizes that whenever a key comes close to someone, a keyhole appears on that person. He returns home with his mother, and shortly afterward, Ellie arrives, a former school friend of Luke's. Nenah welcomes her, and they begin talking about their school memories. Nenah asks Ellie about what happened to their friends and learns that 4 of them drowned. Nenah is stunned and asks Ellie why her husband would hide something like that from her. Ellie tells her that these are memories no one wants to remember, and that is why he never spoke of them. However, Nenah remains deeply unsettled, feeling as though she barely knows anything about her husband at all. A short while later, Duncan arrives, and Nenah asks him about the incident involving Luke's friends. Duncan replies that he feels as if he cannot remember anything, explaining that whenever he comes to this house, he experiences a strange sensation, as though the period of time they lived there was completely erased from his memory. Around the same time, Kinsey attends the screening of Scott's film, where she is chosen to replace a girl named Alette, who refused to be filmed covered in blood. Kinsey agrees, but the moment tomato juice is splashed on her body, she is overwhelmed by memories of her father's death, seeing him covered in blood. She breaks down and rushes back home. Meanwhile, Bode is alone in his room and decides to insert the key into his own neck. As soon as he brings the key close, a matching keyhole appears on his neck and he inserts it. Suddenly, he finds himself in the same room, but in a strange duplicated state. His original body, with the key still in his neck, remains frozen in place, while a second version of him becomes fully alive and mobile. A mysterious box then appears, emitting strange sounds. When Bode opens it, flashing party lights burst out, and he happily jumps inside. At that moment, Tyler returns home drunk. Kinsey sees him and gets into an argument with him, telling him that he has become a different person. Suddenly, she notices Bode standing motionless in his room with a key in his neck. Panicked, she and Tyler rush in to see what happened to him. Just then, Bode emerges from the box and asks them to follow him. The three of them enter the box together, which turns out to be a world made up entirely of Bode's memories. He explains that the emotions inside his mind take physical form as objects. He then takes them to his final memory with his father, when Luke was telling him a bedtime story. Afterward, they exit the box together, and Bode removes the key from his original body, returning to himself completely. Bode then tells them about the mysterious girl, revealing that her name is Dodge, and that she is trying to collect all the keys in the house. He explains that she has also threatened to kill him. The siblings decide to divide the keys among themselves, so that if Dodge manages to reach one of them, she will not be able to obtain all the keys at once. The next day, the three siblings go for a walk with their mother. Suddenly, one of Tyler's friends harasses Kinsey. Tyler becomes furious and attacks him, beating him excessively while imagining that he is Sam, the man responsible for his father's death and the destruction of their lives. Later, they return home, and Tyler goes to apologize to Kinsey for what he did. However, Kinsey refuses to discuss it and tells him that she wants to enter her own mind the way Bode did, but she is terrified of finding something connected to what happened to their father. Tyler decides to go with her. Kinsey inserts the key into her neck, creating another version of herself, and a different door appears. The two of them step through it into the world of her memories. There, they find themselves inside a massive mall filled with rooms containing her memories, each one mapped out. Kinsey chooses her memories with her father, and an elevator opens in front of her. She enters it with Tyler, and suddenly finds herself inside her final memory with Bode, where she was hiding with him to protect him from Sam. Suddenly, a terrifying monster appears and attacks Tyler, clearly trying to kill them both. Kinsey manages to strike it and escape quickly with Tyler, and they realize that the creature they saw is a manifestation of the fear inside Kinsey's mind. She tells her brother that she cannot control it, and that she never meant to hurt him. Tyler, however, is upset because of the wound in his stomach, and recalls that she was afraid of him, which is why the monster attacked him. At the same time, Dodge appears in the house of the man who set himself on fire in the opening scene. She searches the house for another key and discovers that he hid it from her, knowing she would come looking for it. Frustrated, Dodge leaves the house, only to encounter a child who turns out to be the dead man's son. She notices a necklace around the boy's neck containing the key she wants, forcibly takes it from him, then uses the anywhere key to throw the child beneath a subway train before walking away. We then return to Bode, who is standing alone when he suddenly hears whispering and realizes he is about to find another key. He follows the source of the sound until he finds a key hidden inside a painting on the wall. He takes it and decides to try it, opening one of the doors in the house. The moment he steps through the doorway, his body collapses to the ground and his spirit leaves it. He realizes that this is the key that turns him into a ghost, so he decides to explore the house. Along the way, he encounters one of his ancestors standing by his grave. Bode stops to talk to him and learns that his father and uncle used the same key to visit him, and that they used to spend pleasant time together. Bode asks if he can see his father's ghost and speak to him as well, but his grandfather tells him that his father would have to be buried in the same place. Suddenly, Bode hears his brother calling his name and quickly heads back. On his way, he sees Ellie inside the the well room, calling out to someone named Lucas, but Bode ignores it and rushes home. He finds his brother in a state of collapse and briefly thinks he has died, but Bode returns to his body and explains everything that happened. Meanwhile, Kinsey is sitting alone when she suddenly decides to enter her memories again, this time by herself. She later emerges and heads into the forest, carrying the body of the monster that lived inside her mind, representing her fear. Kinsey violently attacks it, then buries it in the woods. Dodge watches her from a distance, realizing that the siblings have found the keys she is searching for. The next day, Kinsey wakes up completely changed. She dresses differently, wears makeup for the first time in her life, and goes out energetic and cheerful, but speaks to everyone with a strange rudeness. Tyler becomes determined to uncover the reason behind her sudden transformation. She confesses to him that she decided to kill the fear inside her, and ever since she did, she has felt happy, as if she has become someone else. Tyler becomes furious and tells her that she has no idea of the consequences of what she has done, and that she has destroyed an entire emotion inside herself. Kinsey does not care, leaves him behind, and walks away. At that time, Ellie goes to visit Nenah again, and they sit together talking about their lives. Nenah asks her about the rest of the friends in the photo she found in the house, because she wants to know more about her husband's friends, whom she knows nothing about. Ellie tells her that she cannot speak to any of them, because 4 of them died in a drowning incident, and another one died after setting himself and his entire house on fire. It becomes clear that she is talking about the same man who died in the very first scene of the series, the one who hid the key with his son. Ellie continues, explaining that the last one is Aaron, who has not spoken since the incident more than 20 years ago and now lives in a psychiatric hospital. Nenah is stunned by the sheer amount of information she is learning for the first time, so Ellie tries to change the subject and tells her about the place where they used to spend the most time together, a hidden spot inside the house. Nenah asks her to show her exactly where it is, wanting to learn more about her husband's life. They go down together to the basement, where they discover a wall built in front of a room. Without hesitation, Nenah starts tearing it down, determined to uncover the secrets her husband kept from her. Ellie enters the room with her, clearly searching for something specific, while trying not to let Nenah notice. Elsewhere, Aaron, Ellie and Luke's friend who now resides in a mental hospital, appears. A nurse tells her that someone has come to visit her for the first time in a long while. Aaron does not respond, making it clear that she truly does not speak. The visitor steps in, revealed to be Dodge. Dodge warns Aaron that she has discovered where the keys are and that she is going to enter her mind to get the answers she wants without asking her. Fear fills Aaron's eyes as she avoids even looking at her. Dodge tells her that 2 more of their friends have died and that her turn is coming soon. Aaron is deeply affected, clearly shocked and heartbroken. That night, Dodge sneaks into Luke's house, slipping past Nenah, and uses one of the keys to set the kitchen on fire. Tyler and Kinsey hear the fire alarm and rush downstairs to see what is happening. Bode follows them, but Dodge uses the chaos to kidnap him in order to take the remaining keys. After the fire is put out, Tyler and Kinsey see a massive blaze outside the house. They search everywhere for Bode, but cannot find him. They rush toward the fire and find Dodge standing with Bode inside a ring of flames. There, Dodge threatens Bode and demands that he hand over the keys. Although Bode is holding them, Dodge cannot take them from him. Bode realizes that she can only obtain the keys if he willingly gives them to her, and that she cannot force him. He refuses. Dodge gives up, threatens that she will return, extinguishes the ring of fire, and Bode escapes unharmed. After that, Dodge goes to Sam in prison and tells him she will get him out and give him a second chance, but only if he does everything she asks. Sam promises to obey her, and Dodge gives him the key that allows him to go anywhere he wants. In the middle of the night, Tyler hears whispering similar to what Bode used to hear, and discovers that Kinsey hears it too. Together, they search for the source until they reach the piano, where they find a key similar to the others they have. Bode appears and tells them that he feels he has seen this type of key before, pointing them toward a specific shelf in their library. They discover a box bearing the same symbol and open it with the key, only to realize it is just an ordinary music box. Tyler starts thinking out loud, talking non-stop, which irritates Kinsey. She tells him to be quiet so she can think. Suddenly, Tyler finds himself unable to open his mouth. He tries to speak, but cannot. They realize that the power of the key allows its holder to control anyone they want, as long as the box remains open. The next day, Kinsey goes to school and gradually grows closer to Scott. She decides to tell him about the secret keys in the house. Suddenly, Eden appears and starts bullying Scott because he would not let her continue acting in the role. Kinsey becomes upset and decides to take revenge on Eden using the magical keys. She tells Scott about the power of the box and the key, planning to use them for revenge. They test it near Eden, and when Eden takes her food, Kinsey makes her trip and fall. Kinsey continues controlling her in a disturbing way, enjoying herself as the entire school laughs at Eden. Eventually, Kinsey takes it too far, and Scott asks her to stop, telling her they have already gotten their revenge. Kinsey refuses, and her rude behavior upsets Scott, who walks away and leaves her behind. At the same time, Nenah returns home with Bode and suddenly hears a noise coming from the basement. Terrified, she quickly locks the door, hoping to trap a burglar downstairs. She is shocked to discover that it is Ellie, who explains that she forgot her son's toy in the basement and came back to get it after finding the house unlocked. Nenah becomes angry that Ellie entered without permission. Ellie apologizes and shows her the toy. Before leaving, Nenah notices a strange keyhole-shaped mark on Ellie's body. Startled, Nenah asks her about it. Ellie claims she fell from a tree when she was young and does not remember exactly what happened. Nenah clearly does not believe her and decides to visit Joe's house, the teacher who once taught Luke and his friends at school. Nenah tells him about the strange mark she saw on Ellie's body, the same mark that had once been on her husband, and explains that when she asked Luke about it, he gave her an unbelievable explanation. Now she is confused about who should believe, her husband or his friend, because she feels that both of them have been lying to her. Joe advises her to try to forget the past and live her life the way she wants, urging her not to dig any deeper, since Luke must have hidden the truth from her for a strong reason. It becomes clear that Joe has no idea what the mark she is talking about actually is. Nenah, however, cannot let it go and decides to go to Ellie's house to confront her directly. When she arrives, Ellie is not there. Only her son is home. Nenah asks him whether his mother returned the toy she thought he had lost. The boy looks confused and tells her that he never lost his toy at all and that he always has it with him. Nenah is deeply unsettled and becomes certain that Ellie has been lying to her. Nenah gets into her car, and while she is driving, she receives a voice message from Joe asking her to come to him immediately because he has discovered something dangerous that she needs to know. She rushes to his house, surprised to find the door open, assuming he is waiting for her. When she steps inside, she finds Joe tied to a chair with a plastic bag over his head. She realizes that someone has killed him by suffocation and quickly calls the police in shock. Suddenly, she hears a noise coming from the balcony. She rushes outside, but finds no one. Below her, Ellie appears, hiding for unknown reasons, as if she were either in the wrong place at the wrong time, or possibly the one who killed Joe. At the same time, Tyler and Kinsey hear whispering coming from the direction of the forest and decide to follow it until they reach the grave of one of their ancestors. They notice a vase on the grave, which turns out to be the source of the sound. Searching inside it, they find another key. As soon as Kinsey holds it in her hand, a glowing keyhole appears in the middle of a nearby tree. She quickly inserts the key, and suddenly, cubes made of memories appear around them. They realize these are memories of their ancestors. They witness a scene showing a member of their family inserting a key into his neck and transforming into a completely different person, revealing the existence of a key with the power to change faces. Another memory appears, showing their father entering a cave with his friends and suddenly killing them all without mercy or hesitation. Tyler and Kinsey are horrified, unable to believe that their father could be the one who murdered his friends whom the entire town believes drowned in the lake. Meanwhile, Nenah goes to the police station to be questioned about Joe's case. She learns that the police believe he committed suicide, which shocks her, as she is certain he was murdered, especially since he had just sent her a message asking her to come because he had discovered something important. She tells the police that she suspects Ellie since she was not at home at the time and because Joe was about to tell her something about her. The officer dismisses her suspicions and asks her to let him do his job. Nenah leaves angrily and returns home. Back at the house, Kinsey decides to show their Uncle Duncan the memory cube they found in the forest. The moment Duncan touches it, he is deeply affected and sees a vision of Luke and his friends entering a cave near the lake where they supposedly drowned. Duncan feels fragments of distorted memories returning, sensing that he was there or somehow knew what happened, but he cannot recall the details. He drops the cube from his hand. Kinsey continues talking to him and tells him about the other keys, but Duncan speaks as if he remembers nothing at all, showing signs of the same condition Nenah experienced after escaping the mirror. A short while later, Tyler returns home and Kinsey tells him what happened with Uncle Duncan. She asks him to go with her so they can find out whether their father truly killed his friends or if they really died in the lake. Tyler snaps, saying he is exhausted by everything that has been happening and no longer wants to know the truth. He throws the key he has at her, leaves, and walks away. The next day, Kinsey meets Scott and the rest of their friends, who are discussing an idea for a new film. Kinsey suggests that they all go together to the cave where her father appeared, hoping to find out exactly what happened there or uncover some kind of evidence. evidence. She tries to convince Scott and the group until they finally agree, after she assures them that she has been there before and that it is safe. Using her new personality, one that no longer fears losing anyone, Kinsey manipulates her friends. They arrive at the cave together and find it long and filled with winding tunnels. Scott and the others grow frightened and decide to stay near the entrance. Kinsey persuades them again, claiming that the interior will look better on camera. Eventually, the group follows her deeper inside, reaching a spot in the middle of the cave that is genuinely terrifying, but perfect for filming. Kinsey ignores her friends after hearing whispers coming from deep inside the cave and ventures farther alone, where she discovers a mysterious black door emitting strange green smoke. She tries to open it, but realizes it requires a key. At the same time, Sam escapes prison using the fire key Dodge gave him, the same key from the opening scene, burning the guards and the entire prison behind him. Back in the cave, the water level suddenly begins to rise rapidly. Scott and the group panic and rush to escape before the cave floods, only to realize Kinsey is missing. Jet goes back to find her and discovers her standing in front of the black door. He forces her to leave before they drown, and they barely make it out alive. Scott confronts Kinsey, accusing her of putting them all in danger. She coldly tells him she doesn't care about their film or any of them. Shocked, the group abandons her, except for Jet, who stays behind out of curiosity about the strange door. Kinsey later explains the door to him, admitting she doesn't know what it is but feels drawn to it. Meanwhile, Tyler is at a party where Dodge approaches him and tries to get close. Tyler suddenly realizes something feels wrong and leaves, admitting he doesn't even know who she is. At the same time, Sam secretly enters the Locke house. Nenah hears a door close and discovers Sam in Tyler's room, armed and demanding the magical keys. Kinsey and Bode arrive home to find a broken window. Knowing it isn't Dodge, Bode uses the ghost key to scout the house and sees Sam threatening their mother. He warns Kinsey, and together, they hide the head key. Sam demands it anyway, so Bode gives him the ghost key to trap him, but Sam recognizes the trick. Kinsey lies, claiming Tyler has the head key. Sam decides to wait. When Tyler returns, he attacks Sam in rage, but Sam overpowers him using the fire key and threatens Nenah. Kinsey admits the head key isn't with Tyler and claims she buried it in the forest. Sam ties up Nenah and Tyler and forces Kinsey and Bode to take him there. In the forest, Kinsey secretly leads Sam to the spot where she buried her fear monster. When it emerges and attacks Sam, Kinsey and Bode escape. Sam destroys the creature with the fire key and chases them, but loses their trail and assumes they fled back to the house. A flashback reveals how Sam was manipulated. While he was in Luke's office at school, Dodge appeared trapped inside a painting and convinced him that Luke had betrayed him by writing a damning report. Dodge had the power to alter reality, and by falsifying the report, she turned Sam against Luke, promising to fulfill all his wishes if he obeyed her. This manipulation ultimately pushed Sam to murder Luke. Back in the present, Tyler finds the head key hidden inside Kinsey's stuffed toy. When Sam arrives at the house, Tyler attacks him and uses the head key on him, creating a second version of Sam. Nenah realizes the door created by the head key leads into Sam's memories and wants to enter to learn why Luke was killed, but Tyler stops her. Sam uses his duplicate to free himself, steals the head key and all the other keys, and escapes. And when Dodge appears and demands the keys, Sam initially refuses. Dodge emotionally breaks him by telling him he is weak and unloved, then stabs him and takes all the keys. Bode realizes Dodge can steal keys from anyone except the Locke family, since they are the true owners. Dodge leaves to continue her plan. Sam tries to escape before the police arrive, but accidentally opens the ghost door, causing his body to collapse while his spirit is left trapped. The police arrive, close the door by mistake, and take his body away, believing he is dead. The next day, Ellie is revealed to be living with a man named Lucas, the same name she was calling out at the well. She hides his existence. Ellie and her son visit Nenah's house, where Lucas secretly joins the children. Meanwhile, Nenah discovers a new magical key linked to a cabinet that restores broken objects, realizing it has the power to fix anything placed inside. Tyler and Kinsey return to the cave and discover an inscription near the black door, naming Luke and his friends as Guardians of the Keys, all of whom died except Ellie and Aaron. Kinsey realizes Dodge plans to use the head key on Aaron to learn how to open the black door, believing Aaron holds the secret. Dodge reaches Aaron first at the psychiatric hospital and uses the head key to enter her mind, searching her memories. Inside, Dodge learns that Luke hid the final key, Omega Key, inside himself. Kinsey arrives too late, and Dodge escapes using the Anywhere key. Aaron finally tries to speak and points Kinsey toward a photo of someone named Lucas, revealing him as the final missing piece of the mystery. It is revealed that Lucas is the man Ellie has been secretly hiding in her house, her former lover. Dodge returns there, uses the identity key on herself, and transforms back into Lucas, her true form. Meanwhile, Nenah tries using the repair cabinet with Luke's ashes, hoping to bring him back to life, but nothing happens. In her breakdown, Tyler notices a key hidden among the ashes, the Omega Key, which Luke had hidden inside his own mind. Ellie returns home, where Lucas tells her he has finally located the Omega Key. A flashback shows that when Luke died, Ellie informed their friend Mark, who later burned himself alive using the fire key so Dodge could not access his mind. Years later, Lucas mysteriously returned to Ellie, unchanged by time, and demanded she retrieve the Crown of Shadows from the Locke house. That same night, Ellie snuck into the house, stole the crown from the basement, and gave it to Lucas, though she claimed she did not know where the Omega Key was. Joe, Luke's former teacher, secretly photographed Lucas after realizing he was alive. Lucas confronted Joe, erased the evidence, then murdered him and forced Ellie to help stage it as a suicide, threatening her son if she ever spoke. Ellie later tried to kill Lucas, but bullets had no effect. He revealed he could not truly die and warned her to obey or her son would suffer. Back in the present, Bode recognizes Lucas in the memory cube and admits he has seen him alive at Ellie's house. Bode visits Ellie's home, where her son reveals Lucas is searching for the key to the Crown of Shadows, a powerful artifact. Bode lies, claiming he knows where the key is, and leaves. At school, Kinsey saves Eden from Sam's fear monster and finally tells her the truth. Tyler also confides in his friends about Lucas and plans to stop him. Ellie urgently calls the siblings and finally tells them everything. Ellie explains that years ago, Luke and his friends discovered the black door in the cave and eventually opened it. Beyond it was a cosmic realm that fired demonic bullets. One of them struck Lucas, corrupting him completely. Over time, he became violent and dangerous until Luke was forced to kill him to save the others. That is the memory buried in the forest. The memory actually belonged to Uncle Duncan, who walked in on Luke killing Lucas. To protect him, the group removed Duncan's memories of the event. Lucas was buried, but the demonic bullet had already bound his soul, allowing him to return years later, no longer human, and now seeking the Omega Key to fully unleash what lies beyond the black door. Ellie continues and explains that on the day she learned about Luke's death, she decided to use one of the keys to bring back his friends who had died. At that time, she went to the well, and the first person she called out to was Lucas. He appeared to her after a while, but he returned carrying the same demonic spirit inside him. His only goal was to find the Crown of Shadows and the Omega Key, which would make the demon within him far more powerful and unstoppable. She tells them that the demon inside Lucas cannot be destroyed because it came through the key she used, the Echo Key, a special key designed to bring the dead back to life. And since Lucas had already died once, his life could never truly end again. Ellie agrees with them that she will go back and retrieve the crown from the house so that they can control the power of the shadows themselves and use it to confront Lucas and force him back into the well. Ellie returns home with her son, where Lucas sees them and asks whether they managed to find the Omega Key. Ellie lies and tells him that she could not find Nenah and was unable to get inside the house. Lucas realizes she is lying, attacks her, discovers the crown key in her pocket, takes it from her, inserts it into the crown, and puts it on. Suddenly, massive shadows emerge behind him, filling the entire place. Lucas then goes to Nenah's house, where all the lights suddenly shut off. He commands the shadows to search for the Omega Key, the key that will open the black door in the cave. The shadows search the entire house, but Bode manages to discover their weakness, light. He turns all the lights back on, but Lucas cuts the electricity to the entire house. Kinsey rushes down to the basement to restore the power again. At that moment, Bode places one of the keys he has into one of his toys and uses it to strike the shadows he encounters, successfully destroying them. Suddenly, the lights return, and they all rush down to the ground floor. They are shocked to see Dodge lying in front of them, seemingly lifeless. They are surprised to find that the crown is not on her head, but they are relieved and decide to throw her into the cave's gateway to get rid of Lucas forever. They ask their friends for help to carry what they believe is Lucas's body. Scott, Eden, and Jet go with them, and together they manage to open the black door in the cave and throw Lucas inside. At that time, Bode goes to Ellie's house to check on her, but he finds her son lying unconscious on the floor, and Ellie herself is missing. Bode begins to suspect that the Dodge they saw in their house and whom they threw into the cave was actually Ellie herself, and that Lucas used the identity key on her, the key that changes a person's appearance. But they reassure him that it was Dodge and that they have gotten rid of her forever. The story then flashes back to the moment when Lucas attacked Ellie. After taking the key from her, he struck her and transformed her appearance into Dodge's, then left her in the house to deceive the Locke family into believing they had eliminated Dodge. The story then returns to Jet, Kinsey's friend, who is revealed to be using a key to change his his face and transform back into Lucas. It becomes clear that Lucas had been pretending to be a student at the same school in order to get close to Kinsey and learn the location of the key from her. We then see Eden standing in front of the gateway with the rest of her friends when she is struck by the same demonic bullet that hit Lucas before, meaning that she too will become a demon like him. Sometime later, Eden is shown sitting with Jet in a restaurant, exchanging sinister looks, revealing that they have formed an alliance to destroy the Locke family and obtain the Omega Key. And with that, the series comes to an end.